When we get to our preparation phase, well, the emphasis changes to strength and speed. So, for example, in here, sprinters would be doing sessions along the lines of 8 times 60, or perhaps they might be doing 6 times 80. What's not important is whether you do 6 times 80 or 8 times 60. What matters far more importantly is where you put it in your training week or your microcycle. So I'm just talking about a general overview here. But we're doing shorter, more powerful sprints in here. You might end up doing something along the lines of doing 6 times 80 meters, and then just to keep in touch with your conditioning, finish off with a 200-meter sprint at the end of the night, or a 150. For boxers, what we're trying to do in preparation here is we are trying to increase the intensity that we can maintain throughout the round. So let's say, for example, you're fighting in a 2-minute round and you're able to maintain 4 sustained bursts of output during that round. By the end of this phase, we should be moving that up to 6 sustained bursts per round by the end of this phase. So we are increasing the intensity. The thing that this is designed to do, though, primarily is to increase our strength. So we are now no longer going to just be working in the hypertrophy range. We're now going to be working on our neural system, the nervous system. The nervous system is best stimulated by low numbers of repetitions with a high loading. Now, this is one thing that concerns many sports people, especially sports that are weight-based. If I lift heavy weights, am I going to increase my own weight? Now, it's certainly true that strength is directly proportional to the cross-sectional area of the muscle. And that's one thing that generally is worked on a little bit towards the end of conditioning here. And the muscles will increase in size to an extent. Though with boxers, if you're increasing your aerobic work here, that's going to keep that largely in check because the two things don't work together. It's going to keep your size in check. If we go to here and we start lifting, for example, 5 sets of 3 repetitions, your initial thought is this is going to make my muscles get big, but it actually doesn't do that because you have a long period of rest. And what matters is something called time under tension. You're not under tension for too long because you're just doing very, very low numbers of repetitions. But I want you to think of the neural system as being a bit like broadband bandwidth. So at the beginning of this here, my bandwidth might be running at, let's say, 10 meg. At the end of this phase here, it's running at, say, 12 to 15 meg. And you think, well, what does that actually mean? Basically, and I don't like the term firing because it's activating, but if you like, it's firing those nerves more effectively to contract that muscle that's already there better. So there's your computer, it's got a certain speed and it's been held back by your bandwidth. Then what happens is you increase your bandwidth, the computer's running at full speed. That's the way that the best analogy that I can think of. So you're increasing here your computer processor capability, here you're increasing the bandwidth. When we test at the beginning, at the end of conditioning, and at the beginning of preparation, we're going to find that our 2-mile time is going to be really quick here. At the end of here, it's going to be slower, but it's still going to be quicker than here because we've still stayed in touch with our aerobic capacity. Our strength, however, will have moved up. Our ability to endure intense exercise will have moved up, and this does have a beneficial effect on your aerobic capacity as well. But what happens is there's a general level of improvement here, but don't be disappointed that at this stage you're probably going to be a little bit slower on the run. Other markers will have moved up. You'll be stronger. Your 1 rep max bench press will be up. Your standing long jump will be up. Your counter movement jump will be up. Your 30 meter, 60 meter time will be faster as well. Our aim here is the highest level of intensity that we can manage, but bear in mind we need more rest in order to be doing this. This is volume and conditioning, this is intensity here, and this means that our microcycle will need to change during this in order to allow us to have a little bit more rest, in order that our neural system can recover. When we move on to our technical or competition phase, this is where we keep the same level of intensity here and we drop down the volume here down to about 80-85%. We take longer recovery, and naturally what we'll find is our ability to perform complex technical movements will improve because we are rested. We will not be breaking down tissue and rebuilding it as we have done in preparation.